Hello. Um, I'd like to make a quick demonstration about setting Ojya Leaderboard now with version 1.6, which is actually more or less the same also with the other previous versions, and explain some new features that I inserted. Um, so to make a little bit better Ojya Leaderboard. So um, first of all, read all the PDF because I made it. I inserted also a new tutorial and make it also better and easier to understand. So let's say just a quick some a quick tutorial about setting the Ojya leaderboard, which is really very simple. So for Facebook, when you open Ojya Leaderboard, you have to create, of course, your Facebook app. And from the Facebook site, you have to take the Facebook app ID. Let's open it. First of all, go to Facebook menu here. And you have to insert your Facebook app ID here and your app name here, which is the display name you can find it on your Facebook developer site of your application. So app ID and display name, the app name. And this is all. You just only do generate, here only for Android. You just need just to do regenerate Android manifest, and of course for Android only, copy the Android key hash to in your Facebook part, which is here, settings. Let's go to settings, and this is, copy the key hash here on the Android section. Settings, basic key hash, nothing else. Let's go here now. And after setting the Facebook part of Unity, you have to go set the Facebook part of Ojya Leaderboard, which is the Facebook settings editor here. This is the script. And you have only, to write down the Facebook app ID here and your Facebook page ID here. You just create a Facebook page, maybe of your game or whatever Facebook page you have, and insert the ID here. There is also how to find it, the explanation on the PDF. Now, when you open Ojya Leaderboard, you will see that it is just configured as default, and with these things that I tell you to write now, it will run, without problem. So when Ojya Leaderboard comes, it has all this thing here set up. You don't have here this Facebook object ID. It will be empty, and also the server path will be empty or a generic. So this will be empty, and this will be also empty or generic. And of course, you will have the use worlds levels like this. So this is the default that you find, set up of the Ojya Leaderboard. This empty and this also empty. So you just only need to provide app ID and page ID. Now, the new feature that I inserted for a previous request of a previous user was to insert by pressing here use world levels. You can have, when you run Ojya Leaderboard, let's see here, this is an Android emulator. Let's open here. As you can see, now it logins. So when you open, now you want to take the scores of your users, you can see instead of having level 1, 2, 3, we have the names of the uh, like worlds, not levels. So this can be done simple by pressing here, and then you can define the worlds by going to design score script, and at the bottom you can see this void define world dictionary, and there is a predefined dictionary, by me, which you can of course modificate. I just made only 3 levels, so you can write the level, first level 3, and the name that corresponds to that level. And Ojya Leaderboard will do it automatically. If there is not a name, will appear the name of the level, level 4. So really simple. You just define all the worlds with the and correspond to a level. You just create this list, just copy paste, write all the other levels, and it's done. So the new feature is this: use world levels. You check it. Then for the bonus, I inserted also another thing. Actually, it was in the past. I habilitated again the object ID for the bonus functions. So what is this? The Ojya leaderboard will come without the Facebook object ID. And if you make a request, let's say ask bonus here, you will see that it says ask now. It will say go. This is the only difference. If you have a Facebook object ID defined for the bonus function, you will see ask or send. So we go here. Let's see, Carol. Let's give a bonus. Select. You will see send. Okay. If you have an object ID for the bonus, let's see, cancel. Instead, if you don't have, if this one is null or empty, you will see only go in that window, go. That's all. So don't worry about setting a an object ID if you don't want. It will work the bonus function the same. But let's say if you want to create an object, how do you create? You can go to the object browser. So you go here, object browser. To go on the object browser, you just do tool support. You go on the bottom, object browser, and that appears the object browser where you can create objects. Select your application, object owner, the same application here, test 1, object owner, and then you have, attention, you have to select no object link game or victory, but product for the bonus situation. You select product and you create new object here. You just only write the title you want, nothing else. It doesn't matter the other fields, and you have created an object, and this is the ID. So then copy this ID and put it in the Facebook settings inspector editor here, and this is all. You have created, you are using an object ID with type product for the bonus situation. Really simple. This is the change I made, and I think yes, and this is how it works. Now I inserted also now another feature, which is the server path, which is used for all game users, which I will explain after. That that can be used also now for setting Ojya Leaderboard some variables remotely, from the server. So how does it work? You have to create a text file. This is a text file, here, which you will upload it to your site, and you have to copy the link of the text file here on the server path. And how it works. The first line will be the app secret, which is used for the other gaming method, all game users, that I will explain after. But after the app secret that you use, you can, the second line and below, you can put the name of the variable you want to change and the value. So the name of the variable and the value. So what does this do? Ojya Leaderboard has a method here, which is on the Facebook settings editor in the bottom. So when Ojya Leaderboard finds you have defined also these variables and these values here, Ojya Leaderboard will read the lines of the text, and as you can see here, this is the method, and will change the variables, of your game with the values of the text. Of course, you have to insert, as I did here, so if the line, the second line is total levels, if just write like this, total levels, then you define the variable total levels, and etc, etc. So I have defined some main variables of the game, which is some booleans, but you can also define also your variables. This is a really helpful feature that can be used for debugging, changing some variables without running building the game again, but also remotely, also in the distribution game, you can change, some variables without updating your game, but just, changing the value from the server. Maybe it can be helpful for some developers. That's all, a minor thing, this one. Actually, this can be also null here, doesn't matter, it won't give you an error of your game. So that's all. Using the Ojya Leaderboard, mainly, commonly, as with these settings here. So as I said, the new features was use world levels, and I have inserted once more the object id for the bonus function. Now let's go and use Ojya Leaderboard with the other method, which was a request of a client, a user, a developer, and I've inserted it, and it would be really interesting, but I don't recommend it as explained on the PDF. We just only need to see, about the app review, etc, etc. So, as you know, all game users, this function of Ojya Leaderboard, will share information not only with friends, but with all users that play the game. So, to activate this feature, you have to do three things. First of all, you activate this feature by pressing here the panel permission for all game users. And of course, for just debugging, testing, you can also activate this thing that I will explain to you. For distribution, you have to uncheck it. This is the panel that will ask you only once for this kind of permission. But for debugging, for testing, if you want always to ask the permission, you just check this one. Okay, so let's check it. As I have configured from server, yes, and I have it like this. So you will have check this and check this. Now, for the all game users method, you have to insert the server path. You have to create your text file, and you have to put in the first line your app secret, because this is the main function, you know, for make working Ojya Leaderboard with all the users that installed the game. So your app's secret in your first line. So you have to put it here, this one, and nothing else. So if I'm going now, let's change the old game users, because I'm using the server now. Let's say true and save it. I just use my iPhone to change the file on the server. So I just made this one panel permission all game users true, which is this one here, you know, just click here. So if I'm going now on, you know, I just close Ojya Leaderboard and reopen it, you will see how it works with the function all game users. The Ojya Leaderboard asks me logins first and asks me this kind of permission. Do you accept to give permission for no friends install the game to see the scores? So this is the main feature of all game users. And you say OK. Now, Ojya Leaderboard has holds all the IDs, some you know, of all the users, saves the object IDs that have the scores in another object, so it can retrieve information also for non-friends. So if I'm going to click here, you can see that reads the user, reads also the friends, and reads all the users that have installed the game and not only the friends. So really simple. So you can see all the users that have give permission, you know, of course, you can see all the users score. But for doing this, you have to first do one thing, which is really important. You have to create this object that holds the IDs of the scores, you know, of all users. And to do this, you have to do it only once. You have to go to Facebook settings editor here, and you have to go in the method void define all scores permission, all scores per here. So and you have to go in line 430, which is here, as you can see, this one, and you have to activate this line only once. It says must be used to create the object only once by the developer. Now this will create an object type, which the type is defined here, open graph object IDs. This is the type of the object. The later versions, the older versions, had the type game achievement. Now I inserted object, but you can also write here game achievement if you like. It doesn't matter if you have just make public your game and you're using game achievement, just write game achievement here. But from now on, I thought that it would be better to use object for some reasons that maybe it will work better. But anyway, you can use also the older object type game assignment. So leave it like object here. And once you have activated this line here, this method here, with the first login you are doing, so when you're going to log in the next time with the user here, it will create the object that will hold all the scores. So you just leave it like this, it will see the login, and when the login, it will come in this panel, and it's done. You can also close the game, it doesn't matter, and you just comment again, deactivate again this line, and that's all. This is how to create your object id object type object, with type object, and that's all. So create first. Before using, the developer must create this object by this line, and this is how it works, the Ojya Leaderboard with all game users. So now, if I will demonstrate to you also, as you saw, when the panel appears, and I give the permission here, okay, I give the permission, he registers the credentials. When I open leaderboard here, you can see that I have, all these friends of level 1. If I'm closing this one, and I reopen this one again, you will see that if I don't give the permission, I will have only my friends, so you will see probably less friends, of course, less users. So I say cancel, he registers the credentials, so he deletes my ID from this object, and when I say leaderboard here, it takes my friends. It took only 5. I had 6, on the other, on the other way. So, anyway, this is only for, how it works, and of course, this will work only. The game will ask the permission only once, so the user doesn't have always to give the permission, and this happens if you have to you have to, for the distribution game, deselect this one, debug show permission panel, so we'll ask only once the permission, and of course this is for using the game with all users. But if you want just friends, and I recommend this one, you have to set the Ojya Leaderboard like this: panel permission all game users false, debug show permission false, and that's all. So when you log in the next time, I can do it also for you now to see. I just remotely write false here, save it with my iPhone. So when I'm closing here, you will see that Ojya Leaderboard will not ask, for that permission. Sorry, I have stencil also that, okay, as you can see, login, and that's all, doesn't ask the permission. See the scores, and that's all. So this is the new function, that I inserted on version 1.6, how to set up the game for friends only, which is that the way that I recommend. And if you want, using the other method, all game users. So that's all, and thank you for watching this quick tutorial.